This was a concept originally developed by Dr. Rachel Raymond in the San Francisco Bay Area of California in the late 1990s. And in this program, Dr. Raymond invited a small group of doctors to her home to have an intimate conversation regarding topics that typically would not arise within the hospital.
Her model was built around the identification of a word. And the idea is we're going to offer up a word. It could be empathy, gratitude, appreciation, all of those words we've used and others. The physicians are invited to think about a story that involves a patient interaction or an interaction with a colleague that exemplifies that particular word of the day. Slightly more than 5 years ago, the leader at that time of Physician Support Services, Dr. Hurdley Paolini, reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in initiating such a program at our campus. And we, in fact, did invite a small group of doctors to my home. We typically provide them dinner and fellowship, and then we have the intimate conversation. And out of that, I watch the bonding that takes place. I watch the laughter of recognition between them as they understand it, they get it. I watch the silence that comes over them when they've experienced a loss or a profound moment or a moment of awe that they get because they've all been there. We're taking care of people on a daily basis, and we're all human. And sadly, things don't always turn out the way you hope they would. And it's very, very hard on the physicians when that happens.
But I think especially in this day and age when medicine is going through so much of changes, the physicians need to de-stress, and unless they are de-stressed themselves, unless the healers are de-stressed, they cannot continue to heal other people.
It can be very powerful and very moving. The meetings are very emotional. They have clearly a supportive and healing atmosphere about them. They renew the doctors and why they chose the practice of medicine to begin with.
I think it's really good to get together with folks outside of work. You get to see a side of them that you wouldn't otherwise know, and you get to appreciate them on a level that you otherwise would not.
It helps communication in the hospital. It makes everybody more approachable. When you sit down and have dinner with somebody, you just establish that connection, and it just extends into the hospital.
The Finding Meaning in Medicine program, I believe, has had a very positive influence on our culture. It is much, much easier to call on a colleague for help, and we all need help. There's nobody that can know all aspects of medicine. It's just too complex.
So when I leave here, I feel like I have released a little bit of a burden, and I feel easier and more in touch with my colleagues.
In medicine, there is no coach. Nobody's going to tell me what is right, wrong, or maybe or may not be, and I have to make my own decisions. So sometimes it gets very frustrating, and sometimes it gets very tiring. And I think when you come to a situation like what we are doing here, we find ourselves with a group of people who have similar experiences.
It gives you that outlet so that you don't become an emotional wreck.
I feel I'm a more balanced physician when I finish the meeting and go back to care for my patients.
I don't come here looking for anything in particular, but the reason I come back is very often I end up leaving with something I didn't know I needed.